Royal titles, bright studio lights, and competing egos. What happens when they meet on live television? Tonight, Jonathan Ross hosted Prince Harry in what was intended to be a relaxed conversation. Instead, a standard interview quickly shifted into a tense exchange. As questions grew more pointed, Harry's replies became sharper, and the audience soon realized they were witnessing a rare moment unfold. This is the account of how a casual chat turned into confrontation. The ITV studio glowed under warm amber lights as Jonathan Ross flashed his familiar grin. The audience clapped politely, awaiting the evening's most anticipated guest. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Prince Harry," Jonathan announced with dramatic flair. From backstage, Harry appeared in a dark blazer, crisp white shirt, no tie, his face calm, his wave brief. The applause was respectful but restrained, neither booming nor cold. Jonathan leaned forward with his trademark charm. "Harry, welcome back. How are you? How does it feel being in London again?" Harry adjusted his mic, offering a brief smile. "I'm fine." The words felt clipped, like a door opened only halfway. Jonathan pressed on, cards in hand. "It's been a while since you've been in the UK. Honestly, people didn't expect you to return so soon. What brought you back?" Harry tilted his head, his smile thinning. "If people didn't expect it, that's their concern, not mine. I'm here for the Well Child Awards. I've supported them for years. They invited me, so I came. Simple." The audience murmured, noting the firmness in his tone. Jonathan nodded gracefully. "It's meaningful work, of course, but tell me, does being here stir up memories? Familiar places? Old friends?" Harry leaned back, crossing his legs with ease. "I'm not here for a nostalgia trip, Jonathan. I'm here to attend, contribute, and leave. I don't have time to wander around remembering which pub I walked past as a teenager." A few chuckles quickly fading. Jonathan's smile stayed, though thinner now. "Fair enough. Then let's move to the present. Life in America. How is it treating you?" Harry raised his brows. A grin flickered, cool and humorless. "Better than here, that's for sure. At least I can drink my morning coffee without someone outside my window holding a camera. Privacy exists, Jonathan. You might try it." A ripple through the audience, half shocked, half entertained. Jonathan attempted humor. "I suppose we've all had nosy neighbors." But Harry didn't react. The joke fell flat. Jonathan shifted carefully. "All right, let's talk about family. How is married life? There have been—" He paused, choosing words. "Rumors. And people are curious." Harry's eyes narrowed. "Rumors feed tabloids. Jonathan, if you wanted gossip, you asked the wrong person. My marriage is fine, that's all you'll hear. Sorry if that disappoints your audience." Awkward laughter from the crowd, torn between amusement and tension. Jonathan dipped his head, staying composed. "It's not about disappointment, just asking what people wonder." Harry's tone cut colder. "Then they can read the newspapers, this isn't free therapy." The studio fell silent. Jonathan shuffled his cards. "All right, then let's discuss your book, Spare. Some called it brutally honest, others thought it lacked depth. Looking back, what do you—" Harry interrupted. "Most critics never read it. People love to summarize what they don't understand. Sales don't measure truth. Those who connected with it don't shout about it. The rest, they'd rather label it a failure than admit it unsettled them." Jonathan raised his brows. "Still, as a writer, isn't feedback valuable? Don't you want to know how readers responded?" Harry replied sharply, "I did connect with those who matter. I don't care about armchair critics." The tension was thick. The guitarist in the studio band froze mid-note. Jonathan's tone softened, smooth but firm. "All right, let's turn to the royal family, the institution, the duties. What do they mean to you now?" Harry gave a short laugh, without warmth. "Honestly, nothing. They mean nothing. I live on my own terms now." Gasps rippled through the room. Jonathan pressed gently. "That's a strong word. Nothing. Surely there are expectations that—" Expectations never end, Harry cut in. Journalists have them. The public has them. The royals had them. I stopped living under that weight. My shoulders carry something else now. Jonathan sighed quietly, still smiling for the camera. Fair enough. But remember, this is a talk show. I ask what people want to know. Harry's reply was frosty. And I'm answering maybe too directly. Strange how when I'm honest, people call it disrespect. The studio fell into uneasy quiet. Jonathan glanced at his producer off stage, then turned back to the camera. We'll take a short break. When we return, more with Prince Harry. As the red light blinked off, the tension lingered. The crew sensed that what began as light conversation had turned into something else entirely. By the end of part one thing was clear. The easy questions were done. The storm was only beginning. Just because you dislike the answers doesn't mean they're invalid. The two men locked eyes across the studio, the air charged with challenge. The audience sat frozen, waiting to see who would flinch first. Jonathan smiled, but it was the kind of smile laced with warning. All right, but understand this, he said firmly. Your arrogance doesn't work here. You're not in control of this room. We'll continue, but only if you can answer without sneering at the people watching. Harry leaned back, arms crossed again, his expression unyielding. The applause sign blinked, but no one clapped. The tension was too heavy, too raw. The studio felt less like entertainment and more like something unfiltered and unscripted. Jonathan Ross leaned forward, fingers steepled, his eyes focused with an intensity that stripped away the playful host persona. Across from him, Harry reclined in his chair, arms folded, jaw locked, his expression dripping disdain. Jonathan spoke first, calm, but cutting. Harry, let me be direct. You've been here nearly half an hour. Every question I've asked, questions people genuinely want answered, you've dismissed with sarcasm and superiority. Don't you think you owe the public a little respect? Harry tilted his head, smirking faintly. Respect? Respect works both ways. Where was it when I was hunted, daily in this country? Where was it when my wife was torn apart by the press for simply existing? Forgive me if I don't bow for an audience that treated me like a circus act. The audience shifted uneasily, gasps and nervous chuckles rippling through. Jonathan didn't blink. That may be true, he replied evenly. But let's not pretend you haven't profited from that circus. Book deals, streaming contracts, magazine covers. Your story sells because of the crown you claim to despise. You call yourself free, but you've cashed in every reminder that you were once a prince. Harry leaned forward, his voice sharp. And what do you suggest, Jonathan? That I crawl back and pretend nothing happened? That I bury the truth because it's inconvenient for the monarchy? I'm damned if I speak, damned if I don't. At least I chose honesty. Jonathan's lips tightened as he set his cards flat on the desk. Honesty is one thing. Arrogance is another. And tonight, Harry, you don't sound honest. You sound entitled, the crowd murmured. Harry's smirk vanished, his tone rising. Entitled? I walked away from palaces and privilege most people can't imagine. I gave that up for freedom, for my family. Don't accuse me of entitlement. Jonathan shook his head. You didn't give it up, Harry. You rebranded it. You left the palace, yes, but you brought the crown with you. You wrote about it, filmed it, monetized it. People still call you Prince Harry. You never left it behind. The words hit hard. Harry's posture stiffened, his fists tightening against the chair. You have no idea what it was like for me, he snapped. You sit in this studio and think you can judge? You don't know what it's like waking up every day to cameras outside your window to live under endless lies. Jonathan's voice sharpened. You're right, I don't. But here's what people see. A man who complains about attention while booking primetime interviews. A man who preaches about privacy while signing deals to share every detail. You say you wanted freedom, but it looks like you just wanted a different stage. The audience erupted in uneasy applause. Some cheered Jonathan, others clapped to break the tension. Harry's face reddened. This is pathetic, he muttered. I came here to talk, not to be accused of hypocrisy. Jonathan leaned forward, voice calm but unrelenting. No, Harry, you came here to remind people you're still relevant. And you've done it by sneering, dismissing, and acting like every question is beneath you. But here's the truth. You're not above anyone in this room. Not anymore. The air thickened. Harry's eyes burned. Careful, Jonathan. You're treading on dangerous ground. Jonathan didn't blink. I'm well aware. But let's be clear. You're not a prince anymore. Not here, not anywhere. You walked away from the role, from the duty, from the respect it carried. Yet you cling to the name because without it, who are you? Just another man in California with a podcast and a mortgage. The room split with gasps, whispers, even cheers. Harry's lips parted but no words came, his face twisting between fury and disbelief. Jonathan pressed on. You act like Britain betrayed you, like the monarchy crushed you. But the truth is, you've built an entire career on that betrayal. You've made millions selling your suffering, and yet here you sit, sneering at questions, acting like the world still owes you something. The sad part is, Harry, the only reason anyone still listens is because of the family you say you despise. This time, the audience broke into sustained applause. Jonathan leaned back, letting the silence settle. Harry's hands shook against the armrests, his chest rising and falling heavily. Jonathan softened his voice, though his words stayed sharp. This isn't Buckingham Palace, Harry. It's a talk show. If you can't handle being spoken to like everyone else, maybe you shouldn't be here at all. For the first time all night, Harry had no reply. His face flushed, lips pressed thin, breath audible. The audience stared, transfixed. Jonathan leaned slightly forward. The truth is, Harry, you can't have it both ways. You can't leave the monarchy and still expect the perks. You can't sell books about your life and then demand privacy. And you can't dismiss questions as if you're untouchable. You're not untouchable anymore. Harry's jaw clenched, his chest heaving. Suddenly he stood, the chair scraping loudly. The audience gasped. His voice was clipped, trembling with anger. You think you know me, Jonathan? You don't. You're just repeating the same garbage tabloids have said for years. I don't need to prove myself to you or to anyone in this country. Jonathan stayed seated, calm. No, Harry, you don't. But when you sit in this chair, on this stage, in front of this audience, you owe them honesty. You owe them respect. And tonight, you've given neither. The audience stirred, some clapping, others whispering in disbelief. Harry's face darkened. I'm not going to sit here and be lectured by a late-night host who knows nothing about my life. Jonathan's reply was swift. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe the world is tired of hearing about your life when you've wasted every chance to use it for more than yourself. You say you escaped the crown, but really, you've been hiding behind it all along. The crowd erupted in applause, louder than before. Harry's eyes darted across the room as if betrayed by the very people who once cheered him. His lips quivered, but no words came. He ripped off his microphone and slammed it onto the chair. This is over. I don't need this circus. He stormed off stage, his footsteps echoing through the studio. Cameras tracked his exit, rigid shoulders, clenched fists, the fury of a man who had lost control of his story. Jonathan exhaled slowly, then leaned toward the camera, calm but firm. Well, he said, I suppose that's where we leave it, tonight. Sometimes conversations don't go as planned, but that's the risk of honesty. And here, that's what we owe you. The truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. The audience erupted once more, some standing in ovation. The energy was electric, unforgettable. As the credits rolled, one fact was clear. This wasn't just another late-night interview. It was a cultural moment, one that would dominate headlines and conversations for weeks. Prince Harry had come to Jonathan Ross's stage to speak on his own terms. He left in silence, pride wounded, his image shaken. Jonathan Ross, steady and unapologetic, secured his place as the host who dared to say what many had long been thinking. So, what do you think? Did Jonathan Ross go too far, or was he right to call Harry out? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next big moment in celebrity television.